So very good morning to you, bright and early today, and we're out on another ride test before the traffic gets too busy. We're going to be riding this one. This is the Lexmoto Assault in black, and this one is going out to Omar, and came in about 2 days ago and said, can I buy this? This one is already prepped. It was pre-prepped already, so a little bit shorter on the wait time on this one, because obviously we had to start pre-prepping the bike, and then the customer decided that he did not want the bike, so it's already been prepped. So good for us that the customer can get this one early. So the Assault in black has got that enduro front end to it, very similar to the Adrenaline, and it's also got those dual sport off-road and on-road tyres on it. Nice bit of bronzing to the engine all round here, and a nice high exhaust can. Lovely bit of bronzing, very easy access to all the engine, and you've got that high back end with that dual sport tyre. And this is a combined braking system on this one as well. So your rear brake will give you 70% to the rear and about 30% to the front, as always. And we'll just have a quick look round. As you notice on this one, indicators are on the end of the tank, so I do love that little feature. I wasn't a big lover of these new Lexmoto tanks when they first come out, but I'm absolutely loving them now. They do deflect a lot of wind off the knee, so if you are riding for quite a distance, you're not going to get cold kneecaps like you would on an open or naked bike. Nice set of shocks to the back, and they're all bronzed as well. So we're going to take this one out, give it a test run for the customer, and there's about 2k on the clock of this one. Now you may notice down in front of me, we're now running 2 cameras. So a lot of people said to me, what cameras are you running at the moment? So we'll just fire this one up, off the button. Currently got 1 mile on the clock. On the clock on this one, you've got nice big speedo there telling you how many miles you're doing. You've got a time, you've got a gear indicator just above it. Mileage is down the bottom, and your odometer gives you the total. You could also have a trip on this. Fuel tank is just to the left, right next to the rev counter on this one. So what we're going to do, we're going to put up this one. And the camera I'm using at the front, this is the Samsung Gear 360. Very good camera. I tend to use this when I'm out bike riding just to get me a good view of the road, but it can also show me, and it can also show the road in front of you as well. So very good camera to watch the driver and also watch what is going on the road. Now they obviously do the Insta 360, a little bit more money, but if you're on a budget, then the Samsung Gear 360 does exactly the same job, and the editing software for the Gear 360 is very good as well. So you get to see me riding, and you'll get to see a view of the road, and of course I've got the drift ghost on the side of my helmet as well. So I'm going to wind this one up to speed. Now hopefully where I've set this camera up, it should give you a good view of the speed that I'm getting. So we're going to set this one, as we do on all test rides, around about the 40, maximum about 43. And we're going to get this one up to speed. So there we go, nice steady 41, 42 mile an hour. Now, as with all new bikes, nice easy running in procedure. We were chatting on the net, and obviously on a lot of my videos I chat about prep time on these. A lot of the dealers can do these in about 5 or 6 days. We obviously take 14 on these. So I'm just going to come in hard on that front brake, and as you can see, it pushes me right forward. Braking on this is absolutely super efficient, as you would get with all Lexmoto bikes. Now, prep time for us at the moment, obviously we are very understaffed at the moment. There's normally 7 of us in the garage. There is 3 of us at the moment due to lockdown, furlough and other issues. So what we are doing is taking a little bit longer to get these bikes ready, but they always go out absolutely 100% perfect on these ones. So what we're going to do is take this out, put it onto the dual carriageway, get some mileage up on this bike, and I will tell you a little bit more about these Lexmoto Assaults. Tell you a little bit more about what the boys and crew do at Eclipse Motorcycles. So just going down onto the dual carriageway, working through the gearbox, nice and low revs, get it up to 5th gear, and then we get the power on. I'm going to wind this in up again to about 41, 42, and just get some test mileage on it. Now obviously we've got a lot of bikes coming in. We are taking a lot of pre-orders, so August the 18th is the landing date for all the bikes coming in to Lexmoto at the main depot. Then obviously they've got to ship the bikes to us, we've got to build them and get them ready. We have got a lot of the Titans coming in. We've got the LXRs coming in, We've got a couple more Iskas coming in, and we've also got more Echoes coming in. So if you're into the market for any of those bikes, or you do want a Lexmoto bike, give the guys at Eclipse a call. As we say, we're taking about 20 days at the moment to prep bikes up, and obviously some dealers are doing it in 6 days, and they're putting about 6k on. I can't comment on what other dealers do on their prep process, but obviously we tend to go a little bit over and above. Last thing we want is a bike back or have any issues with the rider in the first couple of days. Nothing more than worse than buying yourself a new bike. 2 days later you've got an issue, it's going to be back to the dealers. Oh, sorry mate, we need to order a part for it, it's going to take you 5 days. So that is what we do. Most Lexmotos tend to be perfect straight out the box, but you're always going to get the 1 or 2 road bikes that are going to have those issues. So that's why we take a little bit longer. We give it a full ride test of 20 miles, because you're not going to know in 6 miles if you do have an issue with the bike. Bikes normally tend to play up after around about 10-15 miles, hence why we put the full 20 on them. And obviously this one's a Lexmoto Assault. It's got a nice high seat on it. The riding position tucks your knees perfectly under that tank, and that new shaped tank actually deflects the wind off the knees very, very well. And with these dual sport tyres, they're very, very good for wet weather, off-road conditions, bit of gravel. These dual sport tyres are very, very capable of handling all conditions. And obviously we've ridden quite a few of these Assaults, and I still miss the adrenaline. It's a big shame that Lexmoto discontinued the adrenaline, but obviously new brands come through, old brands go out. I was a big lover of the XT-RS, and obviously they got rid of that and brought out the ZSX-F and the ZSX-R, which are 2 of the bikes I absolutely love as well. ZSX-F is my favourite one of those 2. But out of all the Lexmoto ranges, I must say I do like the LXRs. I do like those little Titan scooters. I'm not a scooter rider normally, but if I had a choice, you know, if I had to give up the bikes and just twist and go, then a Titan would be the one that I go for. Now obviously we've had an inquiry on our Pegasus that we have in, which is a 300cc scooter, and the customer is coming down to look at that one today. So maybe if he decides to purchase it, I might be taking that Pegasus out and give you the first ride vlog on that, because that's not been out before or test ridden by anyone. And the same goes for those Riots. So obviously my Riot is in the showroom. It's awaiting some fuel in it and a battery, and when I do get 5 minutes to myself, I am going to be taking that Riot out and giving it a run. So quick look over the shoulder, as we always do before we move lanes. You may notice in a lot of my videos my head moves around quite a lot. I am watching the mirrors constantly. I am constantly doing shoulder checks. I would always say never ever trust a mirror on a motorcycle. There are going to be those blind spots. So if you are riding, then make sure that you do your adequate shoulder checks on these. Make sure everything is absolutely spot on before you decide to move lanes, shift around, or do absolutely anything. Get a good shoulder check in, and obviously do those under shoulder checks as well. And that is my alarm going off in my pocket telling me it is 7 o'clock, which it is. So obviously I ride very, very early in the morning. I'm normally in the garage for about 6:30. We don't actually open till 8. But I tend to come in and ride these bikes in my own time. The videos are something I do as a little added extra. You'll not find many dealers that actually do ride tests on every bike. If they did, then they'd be using shed loads of time up of their prep time, or having to come in and do overtime. It doesn't bother me, because obviously I do this as a courtesy to the customer. I enjoy what I do. I'm very passionate about my job, and I make sure that every customer gets a ride test. Normally the video's up the day before the customer picks the bike up, but it's obviously just to show all you guys on my YouTube channel what goes on with these bikes, and to give you an idea, if you are buying a motorcycle, which one that you want to buy. So another quick shoulder check. We're just going to switch lanes on this one. And I'm going to let the phone ring in my pocket, because I haven't got time to sit at the lights and turn the phone off. So apologies if you could hear that whistling away in my pocket. So just working into the traffic and obviously making myself aware that there are going to be car drivers or somebody else trying to get around me, because obviously I am at test mileage on this one. So working back out into the traffic, quick shoulder check, making sure that matey boy is going to the outside lane, which he is, and then we're back onto the dual carriageway. Obviously a lot of people have said to me, God, we know every inch of that dual carriageway. Sorry guys, yes I know you do, but the quickest way to get mileage on these bikes first thing in the morning, obviously Milton Keynes is a very, very busy city, is to get on this dual carriageway and run backwards and forwards just to get the mileage on the bike. So nice steady 41, 42 again, and hopefully this Gear 360 is picking up everything that we do. You're obviously watching the riding position and getting to watch how I ride as well, and you'll notice I'm still constantly moving around checking those mirrors. It's just a habit you get into when you're a biker, of constantly watching the mirrors. It's not you that is the liability on the road, it's the other numpties that you get in the cars, the vans and the lorries. Obviously, oh, it's a 125, he's on L plates, I'm just going to get around him as quick as I can. So obviously I tend to occupy position 1, gives the cars a little bit more room to get around me. And then what we do, if I'm on singles, I tend to occupy position 3. As normal with these little Lexmoto assaults, we never have an issue with them. So what we're going to do, we're going to wind the video out here. If we get an issue, as I say, we always leave it in. If it runs absolutely perfectly, then what we do, we leave that in, and then I'll come back to you in just a few when we get some urban mileage on the bike. So catch up with you guys shortly. So we're just heading back off the dual carriageway now. Going to be heading back into town, put a little bit of urban mileage. We're currently 16 miles in on this bike, absolutely zero issues, as we get with all the Lexmoto bikes. Never tend to have a problem with Lexmotos. And obviously due to the wet weather, I'm coming on that combined braking system, and even using the CBS on this absolutely stops on the sixpence. And the best bit about coming off at this part of the dual carriageway is I've got about 3 roundabouts, all one after the other, so I can just work my way around those corners, obviously being aware of cars around me on roundabouts. Numpty car drivers are terrible for cutting roundabouts. Now even on these dual sport tyres in wet road conditions, I'm not getting any breakaway from the tyres at all. And obviously if you are a professional rider, you'll know when that tyre is on the limit. You'll feel it starting to break, and it's just a case of get the bike upright, or just obviously throttle matching or doing your thing just to keep the bike upright. But especially on a wet day, take it easy on corners, especially on the new Lexmoto rubber. But the tyres are very, very good at what they do. So a couple more roundabouts coming back, a couple of quick shoulder checks, and just pushing it through the roundabout. As you can see, the bike leans very, very well, even in wet conditions. The sun is out as well, which makes it even worse because we're going to have greasy roads. But you can tell if you're looking at it from the 360, my riding position, very, very upright. Nice angle of the elbows as well. As I always say, check what your angle is on your elbows, whether you're going to get sore arms. And obviously stability wise, and what I am going to do here is move across the middle lane and take the roundabout. We're going to go down the main town in Bletchley, and just a quick one, stability, holding it in a straight line, we're just using the rear brake. Very, very stable bike, does hold a very, very good line. So exceptional handling off of this one, really does the job perfectly. And one thing I do like about these little Assaults, they're a lot higher up, but the road holding, it's literally like riding one of the big Tourers. It's a lot higher in the seat, shoulders are nicely placed, I've got no shoulder ache at all, elbows are at the right angle, and it is a very, very comfortable bike to ride. Obviously the seating position here, you can just about see it on the 360. It's a very, very soft and comfortable seat on this one, which I do like. Obviously very, very well padded seats on these Lexmotos. The Assault and the Iska are very, very similar in style to ride. Obviously totally different bikes, but they are very, very similar in their seating position. That seat just perches you slightly forward, gets you into the tank, gets you nicely tucked in, compared to something like a big sports bike or one of the scooters. Now obviously the Titan scooters, their seat is very, very padded again, very, very comfortable. But if you're doing something like 15-20 miles a day, you're going to be very, very comfortable riding to and from work, or just commuting, or just going out for your shopping. Now obviously the Assault has no provision for a rear rack on it, so what I always say, and I tend to do it as well, is get yourself a backpack. You can get obviously biker backpacks, which is what I would always tell you to get. Don't just go for your cheap sports rucksack that you'd find in sports shop. Get yourself a decent biker rucksack, because that's going to have back padding that is actually going to hold the backpack against your back, rather than just floating around sort of dangling in the middle of your back and keeps knocking against you every time you hit a bump. So we're making our way back to the garage now. We've got currently 18 miles in, which is just about right for me, 32k, and we're going to wind the video up here. So Lexmoto Assaults, this one's going out to Omar, and this is going out I believe the beginning of next week. If you've enjoyed the video, and if you've enjoyed the 360, leave me some comments. It's the first time we've tried this 360 out, and it was obviously another moto blogger, Spicy 110, that said, get a 360, get a 360, so we've decided to try out the Samsung gear. But until the next video, if you do like this video, obviously click the like. If you don't like it, then give us thumbs down. I don't mind either way. Like and subscribe, smash the hell out the notifications bell, and until the next time when we ride again, this is RB signing out, saying be well, ride safe, and it's a goodbye from me.